Hi there, folks. Do you like basketball? Do you like watching basketball? Well, guess what? This is game 6 of a lot of games, and I do mean a lot of games, right here on the Florida Athletics Network. I'm Billy Adams for about the 20th time today, alongside my co-host and our producer, Jonathan Torres, our cameraman, Nick Merritt. We are live here at the Conrad P. Foss Memorial Tournament at the Wiregrass Sports Ranch in Wesley Chapel, Florida, brought to you by U.S. Amateur Basketball. Again, folks, game number 6. That's more than I can count on one hand. And Jonathan, it has been a great day for basketball.
No, it has been, and these two teams I'm really excited about. You know, full disclosure, I have a lot of great friends involved in the Skill Center organization, so I know they put together some great teams. Dave Lamar, coach for this particular Skill Center team. His son, also one of the players that I'm sure we'll see and be talking quite a bit about. But nonetheless, I think this is going to be right up there with the past 2 games we've had as far as some exceptional basketball at this age.
So right now, as Jonathan mentioned, we got on one hand the Tampa Skill Center team, and on the other we got the One Body Academy squad as well, facing off here in game number 6. I would call it today, in terms of how you'd summarize the play, aggressive but also sturdy at the same time. A lot of these teams holding up well, and what we seem to notice the common trend is that both games are starting out physical, or both teams start out physical, but one ends up finding that slight crack that ultimately lets them pull away in the end. We've seen that with 2 consecutive games, and we've really just seen that the entire day.
Well, and more than, kind of a flaw, I guess, it's actually been more of a level of energy. We've seen kind of one of the teams sputter out towards the end and not really be able to kind of close out, what had been up, for, I'd say, the first for the first half or the first 3 quarters of a game, pretty evenly matched. Typically in those last minutes of the second half, we see them sputter out, and that's kind of been the tale of the past couple games.
And in terms of the teams you're watching right now, we mentioned it's in the white, it's the One Body Academy squad led by Thomas Dixon. On the other side, it's the Skill Center squad out of Tampa Bay. And looking at the rosters in general and who we have on the floor, for the One Body, we have 1 in Nyree Scarlett, number 6 in Aiden Edgecombe, number 11 in Hayden Zanutis, number 20 in Aiden Stein, and number 34 in Andrew Ferguson. And that Tampa Skill squad is led by Mahir Session, Anquan Polynice, number 2, number 13, Braden Galuski, number 15, Elijah Bernadine, and number 22 in Jackson Lamar. Those are your starting 5s for each squad. And remember, 2 16-minute periods, as we got a steal, maybe a scoop and score coming, and Braden Galuski getting some points on the board. We got 4 points coming from this Tampa Skill squad. So up top working now is Zanutis. Maybe slow it down. Not as fast pace of play as we have seen. And I believe Edgecombe might have gotten a hand. So he did. Again, Aiden Edgecombe, one of the facilitators on this One Body Academy squad. And it looks like he'll get a couple of free throw opportunities here 2 minutes into this game. And that foul came on Braden Galuski of the Skill Center squad, number 13. It's his first and the team first. It'll be 2 free throw attempts for Edgecombe. Got to say, that's been the name of the game too, Jonathan. I think this has to do with just the fact that, we're seeing a lot of age groups range from 10 all the way to 16, but just a lot of missed free throws today.
Yeah, well, but that's what this is about, It's about the development, and hitting those points when it counts, Is this the environment where they should be missing those shots? No. But that's part of what, these tournaments are about. And, and those are the hard lessons you're going to learn, especially if that makes up the point differential at the end of the game.
And depending on the coach, you will learn really fast what a missed free throw will pay consequences for, just because, again, the term free is always so important and always so evident in college basketball, especially, which is what these kids obviously want to go on and do.
Yep, exactly. You don't want to be giving away points, and that's exactly what that does.
And they'll learn the longer, too. I mean, high school games and a lot of college games come down to the final 2 minutes, and a lot of times both teams get in foul trouble, and free throws are the name of the game. And we've seen that today as well, especially in the first half of these ball games. A 6-4 advantage right now for the Skill Center after a couple baskets. Want to mention, too, another foul was picked up on that last play. Mahir Session, number 1 for the Skill Center, picked up his first, so it's 2 team fouls now on the Skill Center. What a spin move there, a nice shifty move from Bernadine. He cannot finish, and it will go back the other way. Another note, too, Jonathan. Well, we always talk about how these matchups just look from the outside eye. It looks like they're kind of evenly matched, I'd say, in height and weight.
Yeah, no, that's a great initial kind of look at these two teams. Not seeing any obvious disparity here. So physically, at least on the surface, kind of first look, I think we've got a pretty evenly matched game here. Certainly, that seems to be the case on the scoreboard as well as they tied up.
We have seen that a lot. About 30 or 40 different tie games we have seen today with lead changes, especially in our last 2 contests on the men's side. That last foul on the one-body squad picked up by number 20 and Aiden Stein. So going to the line now will be Elijah Bernadine. 2 shot attempts for Bernadine. Saw an impressive spin move that, again, we don't see out of a ton of high scores. The skill set is only so wide with younger teenagers like this, but really nice to see as we talk about development of the game throughout today's broadcast and throughout the other broadcasts, that we get to see the evolution come to life with some players just really learning their craft and really showing off what kind of abilities they have outside of your basic dribble and drives. First attempt was good. Second attempt was off the mark as Edgecombe. He's been active early here, driving down and working on the outside. That's Sammy Atari driving. And Atari going right back on the other end. And what an impressive feat. Zachary DeWilt. DeWilt able to steal and score, and already we're back with a 1-point advantage now for one body. Some movement and shiftiness coming. Anquan Polynice with the nice jumper. And you said you're familiar with this Skill Center squad, yeah?
No, absolutely. As part of my production company, we used to produce the podcast that actually the coach from the Skill Center is one of the hosts on, called The Final Word. And so for those of you podcast enthusiasts, if you can't get enough of football here with us today, basketball here with us today, make sure to check out the Final Word podcast, brought to you by the Skill Center. And you're talking about experienced coaches, who have played at every level of the game. And a big shout out to Joe Philon, who's here in the crowd. He's one of the hosts, I would say the main host of the show. Chris Ward, who played professionally in the NBA, played internationally as well, also on the show. So you get incredible insight from a variety of perspectives on not only the basketball game as it is today, but also how to be a good coach, how to be a good parent of a player. There's just great lessons to be learned, and it's a fun podcast to listen to because they have a good time.
It's really great to see, too, using the resources outside of, coaches are using their resources to help players, but it's good to see other former coaches or other current coaches using their resources to help other coaches, because we're always learning, right? We're always trying to develop our own skill set, no matter what age we are.
Well, and even if you've been a player, I played sports growing up as a kid, and, I can kind of tell you about, my upbringing as an athlete, but now having my own daughter and wanting to see her excel in sports is a whole different ballgame, and a whole different set of circumstances. And so, you want to be educated, and you want to make sure that you're doing right by your kid and giving them every opportunity to succeed, not only academically, but in the sports that they're passionate about as well.
Do you think that's what helps you? That's what helps your passion for stuff like this? I mean, having a kid of your own and then doing a broadcast and a production like this for, kids, all over the state of Florida,
oh, yeah,
in parts
absolutely.
of Georgia?
Yeah, exactly. Because I want to give every kid the opportunity, that I want to give my own daughter. Give them that visibility, give them that opportunity to be seen, and, whether it's, just as a kid, to kind of have a record of, hey, look at me, out there doing my thing, playing my sport, all the way to, hey, now because of one of our broadcasts, maybe this guy's on some scout's radar, maybe he's getting recruited for college. based on one game that they saw us broadcast. And that's really the goal that I have for Florida Athletics Network.
And it has been a great showing so far, folks. 5 different games. We're on game number 6, and you just saw Braden Galuski absolutely nailing that jumper with no hesitation whatsoever. On the other side, Sammy Atari working up, working in, and trying to find a basket. Had a couple substitution changes, as you may have saw. Jason Lewis, number 3, Emmanuel Kelly checking in, as well as we saw Anthony Bailey on this skill center side. So a couple substitutions, and now, folks, even more substitutions. Subbing out, it looks like it's going to be number 13, Braden Galuski, as we just saw that basket, and Anquan Polynice subbing out. So Mahir Session will come back in, and it looks like we'll get Jackson Lamar back in as well. 2 of the starters we saw at the beginning of this game. Here comes on the other end, Emmanuel Kelly, a newly check-in from the bench, and he will grab the basket in an and a 1 opportunity.
Well, you know, you just talked about Jackson Lamar coming into the game, and as I mentioned at the beginning, you know, Dave is his dad, and Dave is the coach, you know, for this team. You know, and so one of the things, again, one of the interesting conversations that come up regularly is that dynamic between being the coach of your own child, you know, or being the fan that knows the sport and how to be a good parent and not try to overcoach the coach and get in his way. Because again, it's a balance. It's got to be a balance, you know, and some parents are hands off, some are not, you know, and there's no right or wrong way, you know, just as long as you're not creating a negative environment around your kid and the sport that they love.
I always find it interesting that the sport I feel like we see that dynamic happen the most is basketball. We always seem to see fathers coaching their sons at some point in college, like more often than not.
Oh, in college, yeah, maybe. I was going to say because youth football, that's certainly.
Oh, that's certainly a given.
It gets pretty rowdy with the coaches and the parents, and it's tough. But you're also dealing, I think, with in some cases with a lot more players too.
So now on the other end, we have Sammy Atari working up the floor. He'll be faced off against Jason Lewis. Haven't seen much of Lewis yet. He checked in about 2 minutes ago. Atari in this one-body squad trying to work into the basket, putting it up and nearly getting it in. Well, that looked to be Andrew Ferguson. So Ferguson getting some early minutes. Here we go, back the other way. Zanudis somehow getting it to finish despite having Anthony Bailey practically over him. Well, that Superman movie with James Gunn comes out, and I think he was doing his best Superman impression there. Just getting a jump start on it. Here's Emmanuel Kelly. And we might have had a foul on the floor, and I think we did. So Sammy Atari will be called for the foul. Will remain with the Tampa Skills Center. Atari with his first. It'll be the team 4th on this home side of the one-body squad. 3 fouls thus far on the Skill Center squad. A drive, and somehow finishing. We mentioned wanting to see more Jason Lewis. Got a bit of a piece there. A nice layup for Lewis. It's a 6-point advantage. And Jonathan, unlike the early contest that we had, this first half, bit quiet, bit calm, and we've seen more of a lead control now from the Tampa Skills Center.
Yeah. I mean, you know, these came in, you know, so far this game has been a much more even keel pace. You know, we're not seeing, you know, anybody kind of overexert themselves here at the beginning, you know, where, again, you might be able to say that, you know, that might have been the downfall of the previous 2 teams that lost on this court saw, you know, which is that, you know, they were just fatigued by the end of the game, and, you know, that little gap became a big gap by the end of the game.
And if you're familiar with the current stage of college and NBA basketball, and you see how much of a three-point shooting matchup it is, we're seeing that a little bit now. We saw Sammy Atari and Aiden Edgecombe add to their threes, and more recently, Mahir Session with a pure shot, putting his team back up by 6. But here comes the transition game that's been so prevalent today. Edgecombe can't finish. Oh, and neither can Tyler Vargas. Vargas coming back. On the other end, Lamar. Unable to finish, but I think Jackson Lamar is going to get a basket.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but great movement there, you know, and he had his teammate right behind him to get that rebound and set it up for the layup. Didn't count, unfortunately, in this instance, but, you know, those are the kind of things that you need to keep doing. You need to keep repeating, you know, not giving up those rebounds and giving away points.
So that will be a timeout on the floor. 25-19 is the score. And we want to remind you this is sponsored by Florida Sports Coast. Let's Play. And if you want to find out more information, go to www.flsportscoast.com. Folks, again, we are streaming on the Florida Athletics Network. I'm Billy Adams, alongside my co-host and producer, Jonathan Torres. Our cameraman is Nick Merritt. And this is the Conrad P. Foss Memorial Tournament. Again, so much is happening. We had 5 different matchups, a couple that went down to the wire, and a couple that were really defined as first-half matchups that turned into more blowout-style games. But it wasn't your traditional blowouts. What it seemed to be, and what I seem to think it's, watching these young men and watching these young women learning in front of our eyes, right?
Yeah.
Developing in front of our eyes and faced with the difficult task of when they see a deficit, how do they respond?
Right.
And unfortunately, more often than not, I think today we've seen just one team pull away and the other team just not able to adapt. But I'd say it's a good thing, and this is the perfect environment to learn how to succumb to that, or in this case, overcome that, and in the future be able to deter that and make it go the opposite way.
Yeah, well, again, it's where the mental and the physical game meet, because if you don't have your mental game in check, it's going to show on the floor. You know, it's going to reveal itself at some point or another. The physical stuff, you know, that, you know, you can play hard all day long, but if your mental game's not in it, I mean, that could affect you just as much.
So a couple free throw opportunities there. We talked about Jackson Lamar briefly in his relationship with head coach Phil Lamar. And now he's got a couple points to his total, and the lead is now 8 points with 6:37 remaining here at halftime. Edgecombe fires it off, and once again cutting into the lead. We've seen that left wing spot be the hot shot for Edgecombe, and he keeps his mark there. Another shot coming from Nahir Session. Not wasting any time, we see Norris Scarlett back on the floor. Comes in for Sammy Atari. Want to note too, Atari has 2 fouls, something to keep an eye on if he gets 3. It'll be Lamar back the other way. Good pressure coming from the One Body Academy. Some help from Pauly Nice.
Well, an interesting thing that I'm seeing on the skill center team is a lot of hard passes. You know, a lot of fast, hard passes. Now that's great, you know, if you're on the run. But the problem is if you're trying to do that all game, it's going to lead to mistakes. It's going to lead to turnovers. You know, those passes need to be accurate. And the way they're throwing it, I mean, they're throwing them hard and fast, and those are hard to control.
Hard to control too, especially, I mean, you have 2 or 3 bodies in your face. Your hands are getting sweatier. You're getting more tired. You're not cognitively there for that pass. And another nice shot and opportunity there for Jackson Lamar, taking advantage of what was a missed second chance opportunity on the other end. Edgecombe trying to draw a foul. He can't. It's a 4-on-1 pressure. It's back the other way. Skill center coming. Bailey finishing. And Anthony Bailey's got a bucket. It's a 9-point advantage, the largest for the skill center. Zanudis working, firing, and finishing. A beautiful shot from Zanudis. Boy, one thing about this skill center squad, you know, they're able to get a lead, get a margin from 6 to 9. But this One Body Academy, they're not letting them go anywhere. They're responding with the right shots at the right time.
Yeah, what I think Skill Center has figured out, though, is that speed is definitely helping them. You know, the quicker they can get down the court and into the paint, you know, the better opportunity they're going to be have to put some points on the board, just like we saw right there.
No hard passes necessary. Anquan Pauly Nice with a very nice 3-point jumper. That one's off the mark on the other side from Zanudis. Now this is an opportunity with a 10-point lead to build some insurance going into halftime.
See, watch for the pace at which Skill Center gets back to their side of the court. They move fast, they pass fast.
Just as you said, moving nice. Mahir Session was there at the right time for the steal.
Yeah, lost a little control of the ball there, but that's going to happen sometimes.
Looks like we'll get a quick stoppage in play on the other side for Skill Center. Braden Galuski checking in. And Anthony Bailey, who had one of the most recent baskets, going to sit down for the moment. On the other side, DeWilt checks back in. A shot from Stein, no good. DeWilt with the offensive board over 3 defenders. And he can't finish, but he will go back to the line for the second time today. So we saw an early presence from Zachary DeWilt. Had an early foul, but did have an early putback and scored. And now he'll get back to the line for the first time, and unfortunately can't put that first opportunity back. The lead remains 10. It's the largest lead of the ball game, but as we have seen with the rhythm of both of these teams, no one is going anywhere at the moment. A 10-point lead, as I mentioned, feels like a 2-point lead, even in younger youth basketball. Second opportunity for DeWilt is cash, and it will go down to 9. 4 minutes remaining, still plenty of time for Tampa to either add some insurance or one body to maybe cut in to this deficit. There's Lamar, and a beautiful shot from Lamar. Boy, Jackson Lamar heard you give him some kudos, Jonathan. He's coming alive.
He's looking great out there, he really is.
Atari off the mark.
You know, and honestly, not just because he's the coach's kid, you know, anybody that knows him will tell you that he puts in the work. You know, I've seen him, you know, at all hours of the day, outside of his own practices, you know, on his free time, out there, taking shots, working on his basics, you know, and I think that shows in what we're seeing today.
Well, it's nice to see, too, you know, parents not only giving, you know, their kids an opportunity, but the kids paying off that opportunity as well.
Oh, yeah.
(36-25) advantage after that ball flew out on the last possession. It looks like we did have a substitution, but here's Session coming out, and it looked like Emmanuel Kelly was checking back in. A nice block, and it looked like a group effort there. I think Elijah Bernadine got a piece of that along with Braden Galuski.
That's the second impressive block that we've seen over here up against that backboard by Skill Center.
Back the other way, it was an open shot for Ferguson. Going up and nearly putting it in was Bernadine.
Almost had a great alley-oop there.
Almost did. Again, it's that 1-2 punch. Anquan Polynice and Elijah Bernadine working well, getting the passes. It's the finishing. That's one thing we've noted. Some of the finishing here has been pretty tough to do because a lot of these baskets, as we've said, have been earned and not given. And in that case, still some good defense by one body. Here's Lamar. A bit short. DeWilt with the board. Transition coming. Edgecombe with the 3. And he's got it. And as we said, these teams aren't going anywhere with these leads. Here we go with Galuski. Approaching the 2-minute remaining mark, folks. This one could get dicey as we continue on. Edgecombe back. He's going to do it again himself, and he does. Folks, Aiden Edgecombe. He's not being vocal in the voice and instead vocal in the playing style. He's got 6 consecutive points for the squad.
Well, Skill Center needs to answer because one body here is finding their rhythm. They're finding their groove and what's working for them, and here we go. One body
using one body on the other end, and it's number 1 in Nairi Scarlett. A 4-point advantage, an 8-0 run now happening at the hands of one body. And it looks like we had a foul on the other end. Elijah Bernadine called for that one. 5th team foul in the first on Bernadine. And boy, as much praise as we gave Jackson Lamar, there's always an answer on the other end, and it looked like Aiden Edgecombe had a break on the bench, took about 2 minutes to breathe, came out, and he's got 6 consecutive on this 8-0 run now. Just a 4-point ball game, and as we mentioned, 10 points feels like 2. They scored 8. Now it's just a 4-point deficit with 90 seconds remaining here in half number 1.
Well, and again, we know psychologically how important it is to kind of close that gap right before the halftime.
It's little check marks that you're marking on a list of things you have to do. Boxing out, playing defense, getting baskets. And Abercrombie nearly capitalized on all 3 of those. Continuing to provide pressure on defense too. Abercrombie is not being quiet. Approaching the 1 minute remaining mark, Lamar wanted a shot. Instead, it's Kelly. Yes. Kelly with the miss, Ferguson with the board, and I think we're going to get a foul. And it looks to be on 2, and Anquan Polynice. That's the 16th foul. Foul's really not prevalent until this final 2-minute stretch. However, the one-body squad is in the bonus because of those 6 fouls on the skill center squad. Unable to capitalize was number 11 and Hayden Zanudis. It's back the other way. Going back is Lamar. And Lamar gets another basket. He's got 8 points in this contest. Vargas will bring it up. Final 30 seconds of the half. Here comes the skill center. Maybe a quick run, and it will be. A 40-32 advantage now, all because of Lamar. So what was life breathed into the one-body squad instead transitions over to the skill center. A dish to Vargas. He'll kick it out. Zanudis with the mid-range. Finds some contact, and instead it's a board. Last second shot for skill center. And Anthony Bailey cannot finish off what was almost a buzzer beater 10-point lead. So again, folks, the score was once 12. It was down to 4, and now it's back to 8. And as much as these scores in the first half have been even, Jonathan, I kind of think this might be our more even matchup despite what the score says.
So far. I'm not seeing either team really, having to, totally figure out. Although, for a second there, we did see one body go on a run, and I thought that maybe they'd figured out the skill center and had their number. The key is going to be, can skill center continue to control the game? Can they continue to control the pace of the game and keep their possession times high? Because one body is hungry. They're coming for those possessions, and when they get it, they are making something happen with them.
And on one end, too, we saw Jackson Lamar kind of take over for a couple minutes there, really being the lifeblood of that offense. But got to give a lot of credit. Elijah Bernadine and Braden Galuski playing very well in the paint on that defensive side. Their efforts creating some nice transition plays for Lamar. But on the other end, with this one-body squad, we saw Aiden Edgecombe practically doing it all himself for about the last 2 minutes of that period, providing outlets, providing shots, and really going in the paint and providing that penetration so that he can have his outlets get out, get in position. But the problem being, nobody could guard Aiden Edgecombe for that time. Edgecombe was taking threes here on the left wing, but also driving into the paint as well. So I'm curious to see, one, is there a stop for Edgecombe coming in the second half by the skill center squad? And on the other end, how well does Braden Galuski and Elijah Bernadine adapt? Because if that paint game is still there, I would not be surprised to see the one-body team maybe try more outside shooting and maybe adapting to that because of the pressure inside the paint.
Yeah, no, absolutely, it could be. But again, I think the threat that one body needs to worry about is the speed at which skill center is playing at. Again, especially when they're, coming off a rebound, coming off even, another point scored. When they're coming down that court, they're coming down fast. And as long as they stay fast and accurate with their pass game, those are going to equal points. Because right now, they're not missing a lot of shots. The shots they're taking are pretty solid, and that could be the payoff for them long run.
We got 2 minutes and 30 seconds here until we reach our second half of play. Again, this is the Florida Athletics Network. I'm Billy Adams and Jonathan Torres. We'll take a quick break, step aside, and we will come back for some second half action, folks, again, right here at the Wiregrass Sports Ranch out here in Wesley Chapel. We're back for more after this. And welcome back to the Florida Athletics Network, folks, here on YouTube. Again, Billy Adams alongside my co-host and snack connoisseur, Mr. Jonathan Torres. It's a long day, folks. Got to energize. You got to kind of recover as the players recover, too. It's a lot of talking and a lot of standing, a lot of sitting, you know. Typical work day average, but nonetheless, these players out on the court are working relatively hard. It's one body squad and also two on the other end. It's this Tampa Skill Center squad. So again, a lot of good talent and a lot of good play thus far. Starters primarily on the floor in Scarlett, Edgecombe, Zanudis, Stein, and Ferguson on the one-body side. And Meyer Session and Quan Polynice. Braden Galuski, Elijah Bernadine, who just got that basket, and Jackson Lamar. We talked about it. It was all Jackson Lamar for a brief time on the Skill Center side and all Aiden Edgecombe on the other side. And despite, again, the 8-point deficit, really felt like this was the more even matchup just because of how well they were scoring against one another when it came to answering. You saw there, we saw Bernadine's shot on one end, and on the next end, we saw what seemed to be Andrew Ferguson getting a basket for himself. So again, another period of 16 minutes and more basketball to be played here. We're about halfway through the day. We'll be here till about 8 p.m. and again about 6 or 7 p.m. tomorrow. So still a lot more to come. If you got relatives or you got friends who want to watch more but can't because they're at work maybe on a Saturday, well, tell them to tune in tomorrow.
Ooh. Little stuff action there.
Little stuff action indeed. It looked like Meyer Session got a piece of it. As Galuski tried to capitalize, he can't. An offensive board right there and right to Galuski. The feed from Polynice is what made that happen. Defensive stance incoming.
Well,
Edgecombe.
I was just going to say, what again seems to be working for Skill Center at least, is this kind of hard and fast play.
Yeah, we see him kind of alternating. At points they'll go fast, and really that's thanks to the play of Anquan Polynice, but then they'll slow it down a little bit as they are now, just kind of going through the motions and going through the outlets. And we talked about, is there going to be a stoppage for Edgecombe? We've seen Edgecombe score 6 points already in this half.
Well, it's also knowing when, right? I mean, you can't go fifth gear the whole time, you know what I mean? You got to pick and choose when those breakaways are going to happen.
And you said not going fifth gear. I think Edgecombe was going sixth or seventh.
Yeah, no
He just
kidding.
would not stop.
Yeah, he almost flew right into those bleachers there behind the basket.
Second foul from Meyer Session, first of the half on that Skill Center squad. And again, Edgecombe, one of the prowesses when it comes to this one-body squad, just breathing life when it comes to the handling and also finding ways to get inside. And when it's not inside, he's doing well in rotating outside and getting some outside shots. His shot is what seems to be pure, too, so a really nice job by this young man so far, and a big reason why his team is only within 5. First shot unsuccessful, second shot attempt for Edgecombe is going to be on the mark. So now 13 minutes remain. Time is flying, folks, but again, so much basketball to be played, and we see Meyer Session working up top with Anquan Polynice. Back the other way we go. Taken away. Galuski. And a Galuski steal unable to falter in. Polynice. Gonna work up top. Anthony Bailey checking back into the ballgame. Going up on Stein. A one-on-one. Polynice kicks it out. The shot from Lewis is off the mark. Offensive board, putting back, and finally going back the other way. It was a nice effort by Bernadine, and we've got a player down on the ground. Might have been a foul.
I mean, I think they're going to call it that, but it definitely wasn't intentional. I think he might have tripped on the guy's shoe.
Yeah, kind of just awkward place at an awkward time, and
yeah.
You talk about not being on fifth gear the entire time. It looked like they were about to go fifth gear until a quick stoppage on I-4. So 12 and a half minutes remain. This might be an opportune time, too, for the pace to maybe slow down. Or I say that, and then Scarlett tries to pick things up right as that moment happens. A couple quick outlets. A nice shot coming from Edgecombe. And back the other way we go. Here's Pauly Nice working a one-on-one with Stein. Goes up and a beautiful swish and slide there. Wow, Pauly Nice with a great feed to Emmanuel Kelly. Here we go, back the other end, a hop step. And they're going to call it a travel. A bit too soon there for Hayden Zanudis.
Not surprised there, but one body doesn't really have the room to be making those kind of mistakes.
Not at all.
You know, skill center, you know, again, will capitalize on those opportunities.
No, I think he heard there was a Publix across the street and tried to travel over, but just a bit too far nonetheless. 11:42 remains here in the first half, and once again, we got some contact on the floor. My goodness. That one's going to be on Anthony Bailey this time. Third team foul of the half already in the first 3.5 minutes. DeWilt checking back in on the other side. He's got a couple baskets and one foul to his credit.
I mean, it seems like it's a little bit more like second half, just kind of sloppy play. You know, it's not like any kind of intentional fouls happening here.
No, it's almost like you're warming yourself back up despite taking warm-up shots.
Right.
And as good as we've seen Aiden Edgecombe, unfortunately that one just a bit cold off the ice. Still though, as much contact, as much bodies that we have seen fall to the ground and shots being missed, it is still a 6-point advantage. Not a big lead at all here. As we see Galuski drive into the basket, finishing is Emmanuel Kelly. So Emmanuel Kelly, one of the bench players in the lifeblood on this bench, coming alive here, and Galuski swats that away as if it were a fly in the summer heat. Oh my goodness. He's smiling about that one. I'd be proud too. I bet Mom's happy about that one. It's gotta be. All that hard work in the backyard growing up, man, pays off for moments like this.
Well, and a big shout out to all the parents, you know, not only the ones here, but, you know, even the ones that may not have been able to make the trip and are back home because, you know, for these kids to be able to play, you know, on these teams requires a huge amount of commitment, you know, financially and certainly time, resources, you know, to give these kids the opportunity to excel at this sport. And, you know, and some of them are here. Some of them, you know, have to make the sacrifice and stay home, you know, but shout out to them for allowing their kids this opportunity to be here this weekend.
And that's where we come in, right? Trying to be the middleman there
that's
to
right.
provide some kind of coverage. And we do appreciate you joining us on the Florida Athletics Sports Network. And, hey, just remember, we're going to be here all day today, and we're going to be here all day tomorrow. So if you have a conscience, you're listening to me instead. So I do apologize for that if that's not your thing. But nonetheless, we've got great coverage here and great action all day long out in Wesley Chapel, Florida. Atari working up top against Emmanuel Kelly, and some nice defense working on Kelly. Again, the beautiful thing about this too, folks, we're seeing the development of great high school, middle school athletes, and once again seeing some talented players just get that opportunity to have exposure. It's what it's all about here, especially in such a talented state that is Florida, and especially different players from Georgia. As some awkward contact from Anquan Pauly Nice turns into a shot opportunity, and a foul is going to be called, I believe, on Henri Scarlett. So it'll be a team second in this half. Henri Scarlett picks up his first foul of the afternoon for one body. And some free throws coming now on the other side for Pauly Nice. Boy, I think that fast-paced is taking a back burner. I'm seeing a lot of like panting and breathing from these kids.
Well, again, I mean, you know, it's a great way to start the game, but can you keep it up for two halves? You know, that can't be your whole strategy. But, you know, those breakaways seem to be kind of what, where Skill Center has been able to capitalize in this game.
Unless you're the 1960s Indiana Hoosiers or you're Steph Curry, you know, it's running around like that's just not going to work out for you all the time. DeWilt running around in the paint, providing some presence. Here's Scarlett with a long jam. That one goes off the mark. Nearly got an offensive board. It was DeWilt. Might have even jammed his finger a little bit as Atari, I think, watched that one roll out of play. It should be back to the Skill Center. So now we're back up top. It's Lewis who checked in most recently over DeWilt. And nearly putting it back was Meir Session. Session a guard, but plays like a forward as well with a little bit of wingspan. Here
he
we
got
go.
trapped there.
And that was Emmanuel Kelly taking advantage of the trap and working well there with Jason Lewis. We're seeing a lot more cohesive play, I think, out of the skill center here in this half. It was a lot of one-man show, one man do this, but working well together as I think we had a foul on the floor. Saw some contact over on this side of the floor. Wasn't sure how they would.
Yeah, I think it was before the breakaway.
Yeah. Doesn't look like it was a foul called, I believe. So nonetheless, a stoppage in play. And the lead will once again relish over to the skill center. They'll get possession. Here's Lamar. Haven't seen much of him in the second half, but he really hasn't been needed. Session goes up. The left-handed lay-in is good for Meir Session. So the guard-forward combination uses his advantage and his skill set. And Jonathan, all of a sudden, guess what? It went from an even game to now it's an advantage game. And this time, it's on the skill set side.
Yeah, no, they're playing great basketball, and again, they're finding those little opportunities, to break away, make a quick pass, it's not the cleanest, but again, they are playing fast. Again, we were talking about in one of the other games about the rhythm that's developed when these players have come up, over the years, playing together. And, skill center is no different. I'm sure one body's no different. Some of these guys have been playing for years, and so they develop this rhythm and this intuition for one another that allows them to play a faster pace of game.
Well, two things of note that have been interesting. Both of the leading men from the previous halves in Jackson Lamar and Aiden Edgecombe, not too big of factors at the moment. We saw Lamar take a back seat for a lot of this half so far. Edgecombe started off with a couple shots, but has since gone quiet, and they've really had to look to other outlets, such as that one on the other end. Here's DeWilt trying to go up. And boy, they are trying to earn every shot they can get. Unable to finish, but DeWilt will nonetheless go to the line for a couple shots.
I mean, credit to skill center on the defensive side of the ball as well. They're keeping that pressure on there, and making them earn those points. Trying to keep that point difference, where it's at, not letting them close in on them. Now, you got to be careful, right? Because now they find themselves in, this free throw scenario here. But, again, you keep that pressure on them, force them to make the shots that they don't want to take, and that's how you keep that lead going.
So we mentioned free throws potentially, of course, becoming a factor. And right now, folks, it's a 4-3 foul advantage for both teams. And I say advantage because it could be an advantage depending on who gets to 6 fouls first. I counted about 3 different fouls there in the paint, but they are letting them play and horse around. And I think finally we get a call on the floor. And we do. It's Andrew Ferguson grabbing a foul. That's the 4th team foul.
Yeah, it was a reach over.
So again, 6 will get you into the bonus for this high school play where you get a 1-1, and after 8, it's 2 free throws guaranteed for the rest of the period. Here we go with Lamar on the throw-in. And again, another stoppage. I think he stepped out, and it'll go back the other way. The lead is 11, but again, we've seen a 10-point lead dissipate to a 2-point lead in the first half, and I know this one-body team can do the same once again as Edgecombe takes some contact and some quick fouls paying off. That foul looked to be on Jackson Lamar. Jackson Lamar picking up his first foul of the afternoon, and it is the 5th team foul going against Skill Center. At the line now, it'll be Aiden Edgecombe. He nailed his first attempt and now has another opportunity to cut into what is a double-digit lead and make it 9. And Edgecombe Willie's in double figures as of now. Down the floor we go. Here's Jason Lewis one-on-one with Scarlett. We've seen Marie Scarlett pressure a little bit more on the front court side, but has provided some full court pressure at times, not trying to get too physical. And it looks like physicality is going to be the name of the game for Hayden Zanudis. It'll be the third foul of the game on Zanudis, 5th team foul now coming for this one-body squad. They will call it a shooting foul, so it looks like Anthony Bailey is going to visit the line and nail his first attempt. Lead is back to 10. Feels like one of the more longer halves, but really just because fouls are becoming the name of the game in this contest, folks. Wouldn't be surprised now to continue to see it be a presence in every scoring opportunity, but hey, Hayden Zanudis, who committed the previous foul, answers with a 3. And all of a sudden, folks, a couple stops, a couple baskets, and it's back down to 7. Bailey goes up. And it looked like it should have been the other way with one body, but I think they're going to keep it on the Tampa Skill Center side.
So I'm going to send you.
7-point advantage, still 7:39 remains here in this contest in game number 6 of what seems to be an endless amount of games here at the Conrad P. Foss Memorial Tournament. Bailey sees it fall out of his hands. Lamar able to grab it back. Here's Kelly. Kelly drives, no issue and no avail. And I think we have a turnover. Actually, we have an offensive foul. So Bernadine gets called for his second, the 16th foul of the afternoon here in the second half. And after a foul check, Bernadine with 3. So 3 fouls, so a couple players with 3, and Elijah Bernadine and Anthony Bailey. .7:16 remains. Lamar going to be responsible for the throw-in. Lamar joined out there by Jason Lewis, Emmanuel Kelly, Anthony Bailey, and Braden Galuski. As that one rolls out of bounds, Scarlett going to be responsible for the throw-in and coverage by Lewis. It'll be Zanudis working with Scarlett. He'll be helped by Aiden Stein. And what looks to be Aiden Edgecombe. Another one coming down the floor. Scarlett puts it up and puts it in. And boy, nobody there, folks. That one just kind of open, and it's basically a warm-up free throw. Edgecombe working here with Scarlett. Maybe a one-man advantage, but Scarlett wanted to do it himself. And going under is Ferguson. Can't get it. Bailey sends it off the shoulder of Andrew Ferguson. So now, after a couple quick turnovers and a couple opportunities for the Skill Center, their lead is back up to 9. It was down to 6 previously, folks. Again, it was 14, got down to 6, and now is back up to 11. Amazing how quick of runs can happen still in high school basketball. Another opportunity. Edgecombe working with Zanudis, unsuccessful. And now the Skill Center, Jonathan, have a chance to make a run.
Oh.
And heavy contact going in the paint. I think that was Lewis taking a shot to the ground.
Definitely earned that. Definitely earned that trip to the foul line.
I was about to say, probably the most earned basket we've seen all day. Oh, my goodness.
And not to get all controversial, but it is, a topic of discussion that's going around right now. And I will say that, the NBA is having its issues, right, with viewership and fandom and that sort of thing. But I think this is an example of why people love basketball. When you watch these high school kids play, even the middle schoolers, the college, right now with March Madness, like, man, they're playing their heart out. They're playing so hard, because every win, every point means something to them. You know what I mean? And honestly, it's not tangible, but when you watch the NBA, like, you don't feel that. You don't feel that sense of urgency. You don't feel that sense of passion, that these kids play with, at this level or at the collegiate level. And I mean, again, a lot of the teams that we've seen play today, in my opinion, play harder than some of these NBA teams do.
No, I completely agree, Jonathan, and I'm glad you point that out too, because I think it's why people love March Madness in particular so much, because every single game, it feels like they're playing for their lives.
Exactly.
And they're not necessarily, but then again, some are.
Yeah.
Some guys who are fifth-year seniors who haven't been looked at in the NBA quite yet,
Right.
They're looking to maybe make a G League roster, maybe make an overseas roster.
Exactly.
And it's almost as if you get to the NBA and, the feel is like, oh, there are 82 games. I don't have to go hard every game. I can take load management. And I know the NBA has done stuff to maybe counter that. As you said, it just doesn't feel that way. It only feels like in middle and high school, these kids are, every minute of their playing time matters, and every minute changes something about their future.
Well, and that's, why, I start paying attention in the, in the postseason. You know what I mean? Because that's when it gets interesting at the professional level. That's when you see them really start to try and really start to play hard, because they know bonuses are on the line, their contracts are on the line, championship money's on the line, right?
Right, and some of the stars have sat for so much time, like, at this point you'd expect them to be healthy and be able to play too, especially at their best if they've rested so much.
And that's a huge problem. You got to find that balance between what is equitable for the players and for the teams in the league.
Well, it's good to see. I know both these teams are playing their absolute hearts out, and hey, he took a back seat. He took a back seat and ripped right through the net that time, though. Jackson Lamar reminding everybody he's on the floor. Sometimes I was forgetting he was there just because he didn't need to do much.
Well, that's, I mean, we haven't seen him take a lot of threes, and that was a really nice one. They gave him the window, and he took it. He jumped right through it.
So now the lead, folks, crazy enough, is 19 points. I still don't think it's game quite yet, because we've seen this one-body squad do a little bit to break up the runs, but right now, this skill center team, they're finding an opportunity every single possession. They have not missed in the last 5. Here we go, going up. That's the first one. Doesn't matter. Second chance opportunity for Lamar.
Oh.
And a near putback. Oh, my goodness. Almost a SportsCenter top 10 highlight there if he would have made that. Anthony
This place
Bailey
would have gone nuts if that would have.
Oh, my goodness. This would have been one of those highlight reels you see on a high school mixtape, and that would have been the prime center focus right there from Anthony Bailey.
Yeah.
Bailey working now. Lamar, once again, he wanted the shot, but I think he chose better and wisely not to take it.
Nice.
He's got range to the game. Not range in the shot, but range in his game as he takes the little mid-range floater. And that will put it up to 19 once again, 70-51. And boy, this game has changed nicely.
Well, and again, it kind of comes right around those last 5-6 minutes of the game. We start to find out who's tired, who's not, who's kind of letting off the gas a little too much. And honestly, if I'm a coach, I'm trying to get that 20-point gap before the 2-minute mark, right? And hey, let's call it a ball game, or at the very least, get that clock running.
Yeah, because, I mean, we talked a brief moment about it earlier. We talked about, with the fatigue and stuff of these players, 2 60-minute periods may not be hefty, but these guys are playing multiple times today, too.
Exactly.
And so any advantage I feel like you can get to rest and take a breather, it's almost like, we talk NCAA tournament, if you're playing a first-round team and you end up beating them by 20 or 30, you can start resting your starters in anticipation for the round of 32, round of 16. That way, you're more fresh as time goes on, and I feel like there could be some mentality to that here.
But you're right. I mean, for the person kind of out there watching that doesn't know any better, you could say, well, how could they be tired, after, about 30 minutes of play? Well, again, this is more than likely not their first game of the day. They've not only been here since about 8 o'clock this morning, but this is also probably their second or third game of the day.
Second or third, too, and I mean, anybody who understands how the sport of basketball works, obviously, is that jumper looked really good from Galuski. But, I mean, you're stopping and starting so much. Your body goes down to a quick rest and then rapid heart rate, and that does tire out the body. And people don't understand that is the physics of basketball, and that's the physicality of it that goes into your your conditioning.
You start to get that muscle fatigue.
Yeah, I know at the college level, too, we see, it's weird. I see a lot of cramping. Thankfully, that doesn't happen too much at this level, but there's a lot of cramping in the college basketball world, especially like late in the season.
That's interesting.
So that free throw attempt from Stein is off the mark. Again, we're nearing that 20-point margin. Another basket, and we could be seeing this game end at the 2-minute mark. I'm sure Tampa wouldn't mind that, getting a little bit more of a breather. And how about it? Mr. Anquan Polynice. Boy, he's been nice all day, folks. And he has a 21-point advantage for his team. He's got 10 points to his credit. Here's DeWilt. Answers right back, says, I don't think so. I want to play 3 more minutes. The one thing that's always encouraging to see, too, folks, high school, college, and especially in middle school basketball, no matter what the score is, nobody's going to quit, nobody's going to give up, and everybody's going to continue to play hard no matter what. As Mr. Jackson Lamar putting it on once again, not giving up despite being up by 22. DeWilt once again puts it up, the reverse lay-in. A little shifty there from DeWilt. Boy, nobody's a magician here, but we're seeing some bag of tricks being opened.
Well, we're seeing them push pretty hard here in the final minutes because obviously the last thing one body wants to do is have this game end 2 minutes early.
30 seconds to decide. They're down by 3. It more than likely will end, but we'll see. Could be a couple quick baskets, but that might be the tip of the iceberg right there.
Yeah, Coach Dave Lamar there calling for them to hold on that ball. Don't give them that opportunity to close that 20-point gap.
13, now 10 seconds left on the clock. You see the man with the ball is the man who has been taking over in this second half. Somebody, if you're a scout out there, somebody who loves basketball to keep an eye on in the future, it's Anquan Polynice, folks, and he has helped lead his team to victory. 78-55 should be the final score. Haven't seen official word, and now we do. Official wording is the final score. A 23-point win. And Jonathan, once again, we saw it's kind of a war of attrition out there, you know. You're bodying each other, you're fighting, you're running fast and playing hard until somebody or some kind of play style breaks. And in this case, your skill center guys, they stepped up and they stepped up big.
Yeah, no, I mean, they played a fantastic game. We saw a lot of great fundamentals, a lot of great shots there. Again, props to Coach Dave. I also want to give them a personal shout out only because, just knowing them, as closely as I do, they're an amazing nonprofit based in Tampa, that actually just moved into a $25 million facility, money raised entirely by the founders of that organization. And they are looking to make a huge impact on, the kids in the city of Tampa, and showing them, how to succeed in life, not only through sports. They have entrepreneurial programs, they have, educational programs, and they have programs for girls, programs for boys, they're doing a lot of amazing work outside of the game of basketball. So kudos to the Skill Center on not only their win, but just being an amazing organization. One body put up a hell of a game. Kudos to them. They fought to the very end. Those guys played hard. It's just been interesting though. Again, those last 5 minutes or so of the game have been where we start to see that separation come into play, and this game was no different.
It's a separation of experience and a separation of really who is not tired out and physically drained from the constant contact and constant acceleration that these players are being put through. But nonetheless, another great showing in game number 6 of this Conrad P. Foss Memorial Tournament. Once again, I am Billy Adams alongside Jonathan Torres, my producer and co-host, and Nick Merritt, the cameraman. Another short break is coming at you with our stream ending and our next one beginning in about 10 minutes or so. So stay tuned, folks, and we'll be back for more right here on the Florida Athletics Network.